What's up guys, and welcome back. Today I'll be making a nostalgic and PlayStation inspired jungle kind of track from the late 90s or early 2000s. It's not going to be a full track, but I'll show you how you can get a really cool idea down pretty fast. So let's head into the DAW. Alright, so we're in the DAW. The first thing I'm going to do is load up a really nice and distinct pad sound for a jungle track. I've loaded up this preset called Retro Synth. It's included in my pack Spirit Volume 1. If you want to check it out, there'll be a link in the description. Just this kind of nice, old school, analog-y kind of synth. If we look at the preset, it's just a detuned saw wave with some noise and some effects, as you can see right here. So it's nothing too crazy. I'm going to write a chord progression with this, and I'll use it as my main sound. Something along those lines. So I made this progression. I'm quickly going to change the BPM to 172 to make it in that jungle range, and this is the progression. Next, I want to layer a really nice and distorted bass underneath. I'm just going to use the same bass notes that we have here in the chord progression, and I'm using it on this diva sound that I'm going to make something with. We got this bark of dog on here as well. It's just boosting the low end, making it a bit warmer. And then we just got a little EQ, which is taking out some low mids and just slightly boosting low end as well. Together, they sound like this. Sounds really nice already, in my opinion. For this track, I've just dragged in a jungle drum loop. I know it's probably a bit lazy, but I thought this one fit so well with the progression that I've already made. But I have made a video on how to make your own breakbeats completely from scratch, including jungle breakbeats. So if you want to know how to make your own breakbeats completely from scratch and make them unique and personal, you can check that out in the top right corner. But for this track, I'm just going to use some loops. I've just layered those two loops with a fat kick on each bar. It sounds like this. I'm gonna group these together and then put some processing on it. Got some compression here. Next, we've got this transient control, which is boosting the attack and the transients about 20% and reducing the sustain about 15 here. And next, we got this analog EQ emulation, which is boosting the highs about 3.5 dB and the lows about 2.7. This makes it both boomy in the low end and crisp in the high end at the same time. The last loop I've dragged in is this ride loop. It sounds like this. It's actually a normal break, but I've cut out everything below 729 Hz, so you can only hear the rides. It sounds like this with the other two elements. On the master chain, I've put both a tape cassette, which is giving that tape effect, and a limiter, which is boosting it and making it just a bit louder. I'm going to copy this stuff over here, and then I think I'm going to add in a melody on top in the second section. So I've made this really wet sound. It sounds like this. Just the preset without effects sounds like this. It already sounds pretty cool, but I've added a bunch of external effects that make it really weird. We got this RC20 first, adding noise, some wobble, cutting out the highs and lows, a digital, which is giving the bit crush, and some magnetic. And then we got a decapitator, which is really distorting it. And lastly, we're just removing the unnecessary low end. I'm just going to make a melody with it now. So I've just played this in on my MIDI keyboard, and it sounds like this. So I'm going to copy over again, but for this section, I'm going to duplicate the notes on top on the third. I've added in this drone sample from MHA. I've pitched it up to fit the key and then detuned as well to make it fit the detuning of the track. This dissonance makes it sound really cool in the background, I think. It makes it really emotional. I've dragged the drop over to the 17 bar point, and I've added in this really short break for the pre-drop. If you like the idea, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. It would really help out the channel and mean a lot to me. If you want some presets like the ones I used in the video, you can check it out at the link in the description, but I'm going to play the idea through fully, and that will be the end of the video. Take care.